Lurk, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assume that the assets y'all got, right? You got some extra first round picks, got some young players, whatever. You got Randall for matching salary. If the Sixers came to you and said, yo, give us 4 first rounders, 3 swaps, and you know what I'm saying, and whatever else, like give us a Godfather offer for Embiid, do you take that? Do you make that move for Embiid?
No.
What?
No. For
Why?
the same reason, bro. If it wasn't, name us playoffs that he was healthy.
But you're proving that you can win without him right now, right? So like it's the difference is like Philly without Embiid is like the worst team in the league.
Yeah, but you giving up all that to get over the hump. If he's not healthy in the playoffs, then that defeats the purpose.
But that's the type of chance you
but
got
you
to
wouldn't
take.
have
If
to
you
gut your
guarantee
core.
me, at least one healthy playoff run of Embiid, I'd do that deal in a heartbeat.
That's the
Because here's
chance you
my
got to
question:
take, though.
who's
I'm
out
not
there?
no.
You're gonna move that for who?
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I'm just
I
saying.
just, that's
I
the
would
chance you got to
prefer
take,
that
bro.
someone with a better health history. Like,
But that, hey, a star that doesn't have that type of is not coming on the market more than likely.
look,
If you drop Embiid onto this Knicks team, everybody will be talking about them giving the Celtics a run for their money to make the finals.
I think if he was on this Knicks team, there would be no conversation about it. It would be the Knicks are the favorite to go all the way. But
So why wouldn't you?
why
You're
wouldn't
not
because
you?
I
trading
don't
anything.
think he will be healthy for a playoff run. Y'all were just talking about how he's playing on one leg right now. So if he was
But
on the Knicks right now, I'd be tight.
but
But
him
here's the
on one
question:
leg.
the only question about Embiid is his health. Anybody else you would potentially trade for with that same package, you don't know if that increase in talent is enough to get you over the hump. I know, everyone knows that a healthy Embiid in the playoffs is enough to get you over that hump.
I
What
do.
other player out there
I do.
will
I
get you over the hump?
agree. No, I agree with everything you're saying, but at the end of the day, you talking about not having a first round draft pick for 7 years
But
No,
for a
you
dude
had the
that
three
most
pick slot.
likely either not gonna play the full playoffs or play on one leg for most of the playoffs.
but you're just looking at it from like, yo, it's a no first round pick for 7 years. You're not looking at it from like a realistic standpoint. You're already proving that you're the second best team in the East without him. You're trading 7 first round picks and filler salary for him, which means you haven't moved anything. At most, you maybe moved one rotation piece, but it's Tibbs. So like, are you actually moving a rotation piece? Probably not. And then you're adding Embiid. You don't need Embiid to be healthy to make a deep playoff run. So Embiid doesn't have to play in a game like this, or he doesn't have to play in game one. He doesn't play in the 5 final games of the season. The games Embiid's playing right now,
When you put
he
it that
wouldn't
way,
play
yeah,
on the Knicks.
you're right.
Like that's why you do the move because you've
You're
already
right.
proven
thing.
you can do
No,
it.
you're
Let's
right.
say that Luka, right? Luka's
You're
better than
right.
Embiid. You know that. If this offseason Luka's like, yo, trade me. Anybody that's trading for Luka is gonna have to gut their core, and a team that Doncic would then be on, you don't know if that team is good enough to win a chip. You know that you drop Embiid on the fucking Knicks, and that team can win a chip. You know that.
You're right. You're right. When you put it that way, you're right. Like he wouldn't have to play a game like this right now. He'd be chilling.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think his biggest issue more than health is when has Embiid ever gotten hurt and been able to rest and been able to actually come back 100%. He gets hurt and Embiid's limping when he comes back. He never gets to be fully healthy.
He's hurt, and that team had to fucking fight, and they were in the play-in, right? The Knicks
Exactly.
are just a top 4 seed. So you can no back to backs. You can rest them, once a week or once every other week. You can actually manage that load. With Philly was just fucking crawling to the finish line. You know what I'm
Yeah.
Well, I
saying?
mean,
I'm gonna make
they were barely a playing team.
I'm gonna make a comparison. Look at Kawhi on the Clippers, who need Kawhi. Like they're nothing without Kawhi.
I
Maybe
don't
they're
know.
a
He
little better
just
this year,
smoked
but
the
in
Mavericks.
the past years, nothing without Kawhi.
Yeah.
Kawhi on the Raptors were an Eastern Conference Finals team without Kawhi. Kawhi barely played. That's the last Kawhi fucking healthy season. They didn't need him. Was he the difference for them? Like winning a championship? Yes. But did they need him to get where they're going? No. Like the Clippers need Kawhi to even make the playoffs.
Well, I don't know.
I just wanted to ask that because I feel like honestly, I would argue that a majority of the Knicks fans feel the way you do, Lurk. That's why I wanted to pose that.
But you
So I
also
just thought
got
it
you
might,
you also got to remember what the Knicks been through and mortgaging the future on stars.
sure. No, I get it.
But I mean, when you put it that way, like as if he's not gonna have the wear and tear, it's most likely for him to, he's gonna more likely be healthier in situations like this.
And it's not that you wouldn't have a draft pick for 7 years. You'd have 3 draft picks. You just wouldn't control your own draft pick. But this team isn't going to be bottoming out anytime soon, so that's not a concern. So worst case, you're swapping the 24th pick for the 18th pick or something. You know what I'm saying? But you'll still have a first round pick, to help you like build around the margins and shit.
And the picks you'd be giving up, like those four, at least two of them with Brunson and Embiid and OG and Hart and DiVincenzo and all them, they're gonna
Pick
be late
28.
20s. You
Yeah.
could buy that on draft night. You're like, yo, here's $5 million. We'll take your 27th pick.
Yeah. Your floor is a lot higher than most teams who put out that type of package. So pause.
Sure.
So, but yeah, no, I just think that's okay. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised because here's the thing about the Sixers, right? They don't have they're gonna have cap space. What the fuck do they do with that, right? So if they strike out, I wouldn't be surprised if Embiid is like, yo, bro, I'm tired of carrying this fucking team. Get me out of here and just fucking change direction.
Is DeMar a fit there? Do y'all
I'm
think he's a
saying
fit?
nah. I hate the thought of DeMar being in New York.
They
No,
operate in the
Philly.
same
Philly.
spaces.
Oh
They both want to operate at the fucking elbow. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, I
yeah,
don't think.
I don't think that would like. I mean, I feel like DeMar could play pretty much anywhere, but and he'd be good. I just think it would hurt the team, especially with the spacing. Like that's
Yeah,
the biggest issue when you add somebody like DeMar is he hurts your spacing, and he's gonna play 30 something minutes a game. So I don't know about that. I thought he was talking about the Knicks at first because that shit got floated around quite a few times before the trade deadline, and I just hate the thought of him playing in New York. That was the best thing about the RJ trade, even though I had to give up quickly, is that the spacing is much better when OG's on the court. Because OG is more willing and more efficient at knocking down that corner three. He's more okay with just standing in the corner the whole time. RJ wants to be more of a rhythm player instead of a spot up shooter. So
like,
and
here's the
he
thing. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I wasn't really I was just
No,
gonna say
I'm just
that.
looking at the teams. I know that they floated the Karl-Anthony Towns to the Knicks. I don't like that move for y'all, but I wouldn't mind the idea of Brandon Ingram on the Knicks
I love the
because
idea of Cat on the Knicks.
really,
Yeah.
but he
Rand
can't play the
have to get a
5.
third. You will have to get a 13 to include Randall because Minnesota's not gonna want him. But nah,
Why wouldn't Minnesota want
Yeah,
Randall?
why wouldn't Minnesota want Randall? They're
because
gonna need a 4.
I feel like that's a better fit too.
he needs the
Yeah.
ball more. He
Yeah,
needs
but
the
I
ball
don't.
more than Cat to be successful.
But I don't think they like. It's really just Ant that needs the ball in that team. So like, I don't think the whole like needing the ball is the issue with Cat and Gobert necessarily.
And low key, Cat, you don't want him having to create his own shot every time. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're dumping the ball to Cat at the end of the shot clock, yo, go give me a bucket. That doesn't work as well as yo. He's just a fucking really great shooting big man. And if he has a mismatch, he can take advantage. But you don't want to run your offense to him. Whereas with Randall, like if it's not Anthony Edwards, all right, well now you got Randall, he can get you a bucket. You know what I'm saying?
And
And
Cat
defensively, you'll have Rudy covering for him. So it's fine that
and
Randall got to
then
rim protect
Cat
that.
on the Knicks next to Mitch will work out fine because he's shown that he can be successful playing next to Rudy Gobert. Cat is gonna Cat is more of a pick and roll, shoot threes, create space. He's not gonna sit here and dribble the ball for 8 seconds before he decide what he want to do with it.
If you drop Cat to this Knicks team now, do you
Especially in this
do
motion
you think they
offense
can win a
that
title? Are you convinced that you can win a title with Cat?
he's not gonna be our number one. I think that with a player of his caliber in this system, yeah, we could we not as we not we not as likely to win a title if we were to have Embiid. Nowhere close to as likely, but we still have a chance. I like our chances against the Celtics with that current roster if we have a player like Cat in this offense, right now.
I think the problem is Cat can't actually play the four. Yeah, and I think that's ultimately gonna be Minnesota's downfall, and I think that's gonna be ultimately why they move off of him.
I think
And
he
so
can play the four because what you don't want is him being your rim protector.
yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not saying it's a good it's a good measure of success to have Cat at the five. Like I don't think it is, but much like Sabonis, right? Like if that's your better fit, that's your better fit. Sabonis is much like if you're trying to build a championship team, you'd obviously prefer him at the four, but he doesn't fucking fit at the four. It just doesn't make sense. AD at the five, another example. Like it sometimes it just doesn't work that way.
It's like Porzingis, right? The Celtics are at their best when they can get away playing Porzingis at the five. The second you put Porzingis at the four, automatically that lowers your ceiling offensively, and then you have to question defensively. Can he keep up with some of these fours? Probably not. It lowers your defensive ceiling. It lowers your offensive ceiling just by having Porzingis at the four. And I feel like it's the same shit with Cat. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I think Gobert is an extremely talented defender, which is what makes it work. And obviously Anthony Edwards is like that dude's insane. He's got to be one of the best players in the league, and that's what makes it work. But I think Cat at the four next to Mitchell Robinson, who like I'm not saying he's a bad defender, like he's a good defender, but it's night and day versus Gobert. And then Jalen Brunson, who again like is a really good player, all star, like maybe even like superstar, like adjacent. I think I heard someone call him today. Like that feels like a good like measure. Like he's not a superstar, but he's like right there. But Ant's just
Borderline
different.
superstar, superstar adjacent. I was just like, what?
It's just adjacent is like
I know next to.
yeah. It's an SAT question, so I'm surprised that
adjacent next to is like
but
here, so it's not
Ant's on a different level from him too. And then you have Jaden McDaniels, who's obviously on a different level than fucking Josh Hart. I don't know. At top to bottom, I just think the Wolves are a little bit better.